A missile and drone attack was launched on Russia's Kursk region on the night leading to November 25, Russian Defense Ministry has reported. According to the information, the attack was carried out with ATACAMS ballistic missiles and kamikaze drones. As a result of the activation of the air defense system, 7 ATACAMS and 5 drones were shot in Kurchatov region. 5 more drones were shot down in other regions of the province. No damage or casualties have been reported. The fighter-bomber Telegram channel, which is close to Russian military sources, reported that the Ukrainian Army attempted to attack the airfield in the Kursk region with 8 ATACMS missiles. According to other reports, at least 6 strikes were carried out by ATACMS missiles in the direction of Kalino airfield. The footage distributed on Telegram channels shows explosions in the airfield area. Ukrainian official sources have not commented on this report. It should be noted that although the Kalino airfield is not used for the flight of airplanes, the Shahid and Orion drones are mainly launched from there.
Russian occupiers are attacking the front in Nivas and Sixes. This was reported by Build open data analyst expert Julian Robka. He drew attention to unusual footage from the front line. In one recording, 4 Russian soldiers stormed Ukrainian positions near Pokrovsk in a Vaz-2106. They all died. In another video, 3 Niva vehicles converted into military pickups went into the attack. They were also destroyed by Ukrainian drones, the analyst reported. Before this, Robka reported that due to a shortage of armored vehicles, Russian occupiers were delivering soldiers to the front line in Chinese golf carts. New footage shows that the Russians are not using armored vehicles, tanks, or Chinese cars to advance in Ukraine, but civilian Ladas, the observer stated. Robka noted that passenger cars must partially perform tasks intended for armored vehicles. This is an incredible task. We see from the Ukrainian footage that this leads to huge losses. These are impressive shots because the so-called Second Army of the world is forced to advance in Ladas. Robka jokes. So, Russian occupiers are storming Ukrainian positions using various types of military equipment, even Ziguli vehicles. Russia's army attacked Ukrainian forces with explosive-laden old vehicles, the UK Ministry of Defence has said earlier. It noted several reports that Russian forces were using antiquated armoured vehicles packed with several tons of explosives as vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices. These vehicles are then set on course to the Ukrainian front line, with the crew likely bailing out, the MOD explained. It claimed there is a realistic possibility that this tactic is the work of Chechen forces. Chechens are among a few groups fighting on both sides in the Ukraine war, hailing from a restive, semi-autonomous region in the Caucasus. Many of those fighting for Russia teamed up with Moscow to break the rebellion of their own people during the Second Chechen War, which lasted from 1999 to 2009. Russia has used Chechens to discipline and reportedly even execute dissenting soldiers, as well as to intimidate civilians in Ukraine. Many Chechens fighting on Kiev's side, including some radical Islamists, fought against Moscow during past separatist wars. Chechen men fighting under Russia's flag are known as the Kadirovsky, after the father of the leader of the Chechen Republic, Ramzan Kadyrov, often referred to as Putin's mad dog. The Russian army of occupation is suffering record losses on the battlefield, but the number of soldiers it continues to throw into battle remains a record, according to Obozrevatel media outlet. At the same time, the enemy's use of armored vehicles has significantly decreased. In fact, today he fights with only meat. Where did the armor go? Reserve officer of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, military expert Andriy Kramarov, said in an interview with Obozrevatel that the old Soviet models are almost exhausted. The actual production of new ones is not as large-scale as the Kremlin would like, and the Allies are in no hurry to provide their tanks and armored personnel carriers. At the same time, Ukrainian drones reached a new level of development and began to massively destroy the enemy's armor supply. It should be recognized that Russia still has the ability to replenish the army in large volumes, in particular thanks to covert mobilization, and there is no need for the urgent involvement of North Korean soldiers. North Korean troops should not be in Ukraine, because in this case it would be a direct aggression of this country against ours. However, this cannot be completely ruled out if, thanks to long-range weapons, Ukraine manages to inflict colossal losses on the occupying army, he added. Over the past 6 months, there has been a tendency for the Russians to use less armored vehicles. This is explained simply. They use whatever they can produce at the moment. Soviet stocks have already decreased quite a lot. Currently, neither China nor North Korea supplies Russia with armored vehicles. Therefore, they fight with what their own military-industrial complex can produce and use what is left in the Soviet storage facilities. By the way, in the summer of this year, satellite images of such storage places in the Far East, where up to 3 to 3.5 thousand units of armored vehicles were previously stored, are now simply empty. This, in fact, explains the fact that the Russians use less armored vehicles. If they had more of it, they would continue to actively use it, the expert told. He says that the personnel stock of Russians remains at an extremely high level, at different speeds, but hidden mobilization continues in them.